With Jake Sullivan, the US National Security Advisor, former Director of Policy for President Obama, former Chief of Staff to Hillary Clinton at the State Department, absolutely desperately trying not to talk about the New World Order, which of course, as we all know, is a vicious, debunked, anti-Semitic, far-right conspiracy theory. I know that because it says so on Wikipedia. This is of unimpeachable provenance, and it absolutely has nothing to do with the end-time emergence of the Antichrist either. So they're up there going into bat with the status quo. So let's hear now from the High Priestess of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen.
Dear Klaus, let me go back to the number one concern of the Global Risk Report: disinformation and misinformation. Tackling this has been our focus since the very beginning of my mandate. With our Digital Services Act, we defined the responsibilities of large internet platforms on the content they promote and propagate, and responsible to children and vulnerable groups targeted by hate speech, but also a responsibility to our societies as a whole. Because the boundary between online and offline is getting thinner and thinner. And the values we cherish offline should also be protected online. And this is even more important in this new era of generative AI. Now, the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report puts artificial intelligence as one of the top potential risks for the next decade.
So disinformation is the top priority. It actually trumps climate change, which apparently is an existential risk to all of us. The tool that they're using to combat disinformation is regulation. It's all about protecting vulnerable groups from hate speech. We've got to quash vicious rumours about things like the New World Order, for example. Also quashing rumours about von der Leyen's refusal to release text messages between herself and Pfizer CEO Anthony Border about the purchase of billions of euros of experimental gene therapies, the ones that Andrew Bridgen has just been talking about a moment ago. It's about stopping us from discussing the death from a heart attack of EU investigator Michelle Rabassi, who was looking into those text messages just before Christmas. It's probably about suppressing discussion of her own husband's extremely profitable pharmaceutical business built around mRNA technology. They're going to do it using AI. We didn't ask for artificial intelligence. It's being foisted on us. And actually, if she wants to understand where that's coming from, she just needs to look at the audience at the World Economic Forum and all the people taking high-level meetings with politicians this week. So, final clip, let's hear from Tedros at the World Health Organization.
The other key in order to have better prepared and to address the disease X is the pandemic agreement. The pandemic agreement can bring all the experience, all the challenges that we have faced and all the solutions into one. And that agreement can help us to prepare for the future in a better way, because this is about a common enemy. And without a shared response, starting from the preparedness, we will face the same problem as COVID. And the deadline for the pandemic agreement is May 2024, and member states are negotiating. This is between countries, and I hope they will deliver this pandemic agreement by that time, on the deadline, because if this generation cannot do it, we're the lived community, we have the first-hand experience, I don't think incoming generation, the next generation will do it. So for our children and grandchildren's sake, I think we have to convert all the lessons we have learned into this pandemic and prepare the world for the future, because this is a common global interest, and national interest, very narrow national interest, should not come into the way. Of course, national interest is natural, but it's the narrow national interest that could be difficult and affecting the negotiations even as we speak.
So it's COVID all over again, basically. It's the same playbook. They're wargaming